Good evening and welcome to the August 21st regularly scheduled East Long Meadow Board of Library Trustees meeting. I'm calling this meeting to order and it is now approximately 6:05 p.m. This meeting is being both audio and video taped for future broadcast on LCAT. And we will start tonight's meeting with a roll call introduction starting to my left with Melanie
Mannheim,
Michael Gray,
Kendra Levesque,
Diane Tiago,
Cindy McNaught,
Layla Johnston.
Okay, so our first order of business is the minutes of the July 17th, 2019 meeting. And did everybody have an opportunity? I know Layla sent this
in a timely fashion.
in that always.
I not only read the script, I watched the movie.
Oh, you watched the movie too.
Yeah.
So is there any corrections or edits that you noticed that we need to change here at all before we accept them? Haven't heard anything.
I move
You're gonna move?
that we accept these wonderful meeting minutes
Okay.
from June 19th. Do I have a second?
Well, it says July 17th, so I can't have you say for June
Down here
19th.
under meeting
June
minutes, it says 19th.
Minutes for June.
Up here
July
the current
17th.
date, and then down there, that's the previous one that was accepted at the previous meeting. This is the date that we're looking at right now.
Well, then I shall correct myself.
Sorry, Michael.
Let us accept. Let's accept both of them.
In your absence, we did take care of the June ones.
All
So
right. So the July 17th meeting. Let's accept this report.
and Cindy, you seconded it, right?
okay.
Cindy seconds it.
I'll second
Okay.
the July 17th minutes
Okay.
With fanfare.
with fanfare.
Yeah. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, unanimous. And before I go on any further, and forgive me, but if anybody has a cell phone, could you put it on silence?
That's what I'm doing.
Thank you,
Trying.
thank you, thank you. No. All right. So at this point, we don't have any guests, so we're going to move on to the director's report. And Layla.
Town Manager Denise Menard has retired. That was effective August 15th, so earlier this month. At their August 6th meeting, Town Council appointed Mary McNally as acting town manager. Ms. McNally accepted the position and will begin her duties once details of her contract are finalized. Town Council expects that the acting manager will be in place for approximately 4 months, with a possible 4-month extension while they conduct a search for a permanent town manager. Town Council will be meeting on August 26th, 21st tonight at 6 p.m. to select an agency to assist with the search process for a permanent town manager. And if anybody wants to read more about that, the process for selecting a new town manager is outlined in the charter in section 3B. Building maintenance. Unfortunately, we had an accident, and some of you may have noticed the glass panel near this entrance was cracked. Accidental. It was a DPW seasonal employee helping tidy up that area. So the replacement has been ordered, and it will be installed as soon as it arrives. It's a custom shape, so it takes a little bit longer, but there is the caution sign out there. So the library's summer reading program, A Universe of Stories, concluded the first week of August. I am pleased to report that we had another very successful program with 188 teens, 48 adults, and 1,153 children participating in the program. I really want to extend a hearty thank you to the staff who work very, very hard every year to provide the popular program for our East Long Meadow families. Auto renewal is now in effect. Some of you may have noticed if you had borrowed books or DVDs that if they had a renewal remaining, the catalog automatically renewed that for you. Patrons are very excited about that. It's been very popular. We haven't had any issues with it so far. It just makes it a little bit easier for people who have items out that are, on vacation, or they may not remember that they need to renew. You also still will receive an email reminding you if you would like to renew your materials on your own. And we have an exciting local advocacy opportunity. I know that people had asked for more local trainings, and I sent everybody the information about an October trustee orientation that will be held at the Westfield Athenaeum. But we also have a local opportunity for trustees right here in town. And that is to work with the East Long Meadow Planning Board, who is working with Director of Planning and Development Constant Broaders to update the Town of East Long Meadow Master Plan. The new master plan will be created with the year 2030 as a benchmark. This is an important and unique opportunity for trustees to participate in the public comment portion of the planning process from your perspective as East Long Meadow residents and library advocates to ensure that the library is included in the town's master plan. Interested trustees may participate by attending a public meeting work session on September 3rd, October 1st, or December 3rd. You can attend one, there's no need to attend all three, unless you would like to. At 6 p.m. at the East Long Meadow High School Committee Room, and you can submit your input in writing to Planning Director Constance Broaders. So if you'd like more information on that, I have her contact information included there, as well as a flyer that also has the dates, the location, and the 3 questions that they're going to use. Where are we now? Where do we want to be? And how do we get there? And Diane had participated in the library's strategic planning process, and it's very similar to that, where there was a question from off camera asking, what is a master plan? And so that's included. It's every town has one. Some of them have been updated very recently. I think Longmeadow updated theirs 2004. Other towns still have ones in place since the 70s. That's our situation. That's fine. It's just time to review and update that plan. Most of the master plans that I've looked at are centered on use of land. That's usually the primary focus. And then also coming into that would be all of the other areas that town governance would be involved in. So public safety, the library would be included as part of the cultural portion. So not to do disservice to describe it not as sufficiently as I could, Ms. Broaders, the planning director, could help answer any questions, but it's kind of a guiding document for where would you like the town to be in 2030, and how could the planning board and other town departments assist in moving that town in that direction. Does that make sense?
So I think it would be smart if we met maybe separately and discussed, because I'd be interested in going to some of these, and have what do we think we'd like the library to evolve into, or how would we like to see the library evolve in the town? If we could meet and then when we go to this, we'll have some good ideas, and we'll have your ideas because you're...
Well, I will be
basically
participating in a separate process that's meant for department heads. So I'll be doing this throughout the upcoming year, through July, as part of a department head meeting that will be held every month.
So
You should use the library's strategic plan.
And that's what I was going to say, and I was going to say to Kendra too. If you go to the library's website, and I believe, isn't it on the policies page?
No, it's on the About Us.
About Us page, I'm sorry. And what happens is you'll see where it says the strategic plan. And what happens is opening it up, there's a lot of information on there. And this was created 2 years ago. And so you can see what answers we got from the community. And Layla did a great job with the graphs and the whole bit, so you can see. So that has really given us, the library, the goals to try to strive for.
How far out does the strategic plan take
So
us?
for example, the library's strategic plan was worked on and created in 2017, but none of the goals or work or any of that would start until 2018. So it covers our fiscal years 2019 through 2024. This may be different for this particular, notice they have the 2030
Yeah.
as their goal. So it's generally best practices for library strategic plans to be reviewed every 5 years. This is a different process. But I think it should be very interesting
Yeah.
and very important because everyone lives in East Long Meadow that is a trustee, and you could really weigh in areas that library services are very important to you and your families and neighbors. And it might be a really, really interesting process.
Is this open to anyone?
Yes, anyone who lives in East Long Meadow.
So
Yeah.
if we went, we'd basically be going as citizens who happen to be trustees?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Which is the most important way to go about pursuing library advocacy. That you're a citizen who uses the library, and this is why it's important to you and your family.
Okay, cool.
Yeah?
So you don't have to attend any of these three?
You can pick one, you could go to all three.
Okay.
Yeah, whichever you think would be best for your
Do you want to go along with me?
commitments.
Yeah, we can.
A date.
We can set a date, Michael.
Want to go?
Been a while. Are there any other questions for Layla with regards to her reports?
Well, I had a question regarding the summer reading program, the Universe of Stories. How often did the telescope get used?
It was
That's my
checked
no-
out once that I know of.
Okay, for
it's
the
hard
summer.
during the summer because the
Okay.
sun sets so late. But it definitely did. It did get used at
Okay,
least
at
once
least
that I'm
once.
aware of.
Okay,
So yeah.
that's good. That's good.
And they actually, the Aldrich Society, who the Friends got the telescope from, their photographs were the ones that were on display in the community room. If
Yeah.
anyone saw those, that was very, very kind of them. They loaned us those photographs as part of the theme for summer reading. So they were really cool. If anybody got a chance to
Do
see
they do
them.
that for all libraries?
They do have a traveling exhibit. I'm not sure if it's for all libraries, but I know that they do. If you contact them, if someone contacts the Aldrich Society, they can give you more information. Great theme this year. It was such a good
It is a
theme.
good
It
thing.
was a
Yeah.
perfect year for it because they were doing the 50th anniversary too of when they landed on the moon. So it just seemed like it all
It all fit
gelled.
well.
It-
Yeah, but
it-
it was a easy theme to work with, I thought.
Yeah.
Cool. And
That's
then,
good.
of course, I got questions that have to do with the auto renewal.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens is that to me kind of works in with our strategic plan as far as eliminating some of the barriers for.
Well, this was a CW Mars
Yeah.
led initiative, so
So
it
can you
does
t-
complement that.
Well, that's what I mean. So how did that all come to be? And because how with
So this is a
CW
trend in libraries nationwide that in order to make things easier for patrons and to reduce barriers to access, fines are being eliminated for the most part.
Yeah.
But auto renewal itself, like I said, was implemented by CW Mars. So what that means is there was a lot of discussion and research. They looked at other library systems, both around Massachusetts and around the country. Auto renewal was in effect in a majority of them at that time, and so decided that for the convenience of patrons, also to reduce fines a little bit, but there's still, if you lose a book, you still have to pay for the replacement. But it does help for people who are busy, forget to renew, that kind of thing. It's the same circulation requirements that are in place for something that you had borrowed are going to be in effect with auto renewal. If you have a renewal remaining, it will go through. If you don't, you'll get a notification that your item was not renewed and it needs to be returned. Does that help?
Yeah, sure. I just wanted to know how it all kind of came about, and it started into effect on July 1st. July 1st, and so what I wanted to ask, I'm asking these questions, is would that affect our borrowers policy?
No.
No.
Do we need to change?
Do we need to change
our
any of the word?
There's no change
borrowers?
whatsoever to any of the circulation rules. What that means is that if you had an item that was checked out and you wanted it to renew one time and it had 1 week renewal remaining,
Yeah.
that just automatically goes through the system.
You could do it manually, this is
Yes,
doing it
this is just
automatically.
doing it automatic.
it's not
Nothing
really-
has
it's not
changed
really
in that
changing the
aspect. We don't
policy.
need to review the policy. We don't need to do anything like that at all.
Oh, okay.
And this is
Okay.
for books and materials?
Yeah.
Everything?
Yes.
Okay.
So for example, the hotspots, there's no renewal, so it won't auto-renew. It will still be due after 2 weeks circulation.
And museum passes?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Those
No renewal
stay-
for those.
stay
Yep.
as is.
So everything that said no renewals is gonna remain no renewals.
Yes.
And so,
There's really no change.
so nothing has changed.
The only thing that's changed is it's easier and you don't have to remember.
I love it.
That's about it. Yeah.
I love
And
it.
CW Mars had to change all the,
CW Mars already went through and did all of the
Technically, to get it all
updates to the
done.
catalog as well as change
So
their
you
own
guys didn't
policy,
really
which
have
would
to-
be what needed to be
you
changed.
didn't really have to get involved in that, they just did it. And-
No, I mean, I'm on executive committee, so executive
No,
committee
I didn't
had
mean
to.
it that way, I meant physically, you didn't have to.
Oh, we
change
didn't
any- in your-
code anything, no.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And so,
I missed it.
I was,
Mm-hmm.
because of my curiosity type of thing. So
Oh.
I went around and,
Did
I'm
you
looking
hear
at other
about- Did you
different.
hear about the cat?
Oh, what I was gonna say, there was a cute, photo of somebody behind bars because they forgot to renew their books.
Oh, no.
And what happened was, it was like a cute picture of like, you don't have to worry because you're on vacation anymore. The library police is not going to come after you. Also, what happened? Let's see. I just wanted to show you. This happened to be in Grafton, and what they did with it was they had like automatic renewal right on their first. If you went to their webpage, they had like the photo of this, and you click on it, and then it brought you over to a new page that told more information about it, and so forth. I went and I took a look at Woods Memorial. Theirs where it's just similar wording down below, and you click on it, and it would bring you to a page that was similar to that.
So it just told you more about,
Yeah,
What it
yeah,
was.
it was, and this was chickpeas. This was chickpeas. See,
Oh, yeah.
so people could learn a little bit more about it, and they could click right on maybe a tab or so. That it wasn't like the whole thing was written out like on their front page, but there'd be a tab, and then you would come to all this information. And I think it's pretty great. I really do think that the auto renewal is going to make a lot of people really happy. So anyway, tell CW Mars thanks. I think it's
Okay.
wonderful. I did look at some other ones across the country, as she was saying. There was one in like Ohio and so forth. So this isn't anything brand new, and I'm just glad that we finally caught up. So,
if someone checks out a book, they have the first 3 weeks to
If
keep
it's an
it.
older book.
right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
books are
So
shorter.
so let's say you checked out Devil in the White City, right? Which
Yeah.
was the really popular nonfiction book by Eric Larson. That you would keep for 3 weeks, and then you would get a renewal for another 3 weeks. But let's say that you just borrowed the latest, super hot bestseller David Baldacci that just came out a few weeks ago. 2 weeks for that one, with one renewal for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And what I read, if I understood this right too, Layla, correct me. If it's an ebook, or if you do an ebook or audio book, that's not anything.
Those are the Overdrive catalog, and those are totally separate, but they already had automatic. When you're done with something and the title is expired, it'll say in your account, it automatically is returned.
Okay. I just wanted to help clarify that. So it is the physical items we're really
Right.
referring to.
So if you take out an ebook, it's not downloaded onto your computer or your phone?
You can choose to do that. That's through Overdrive, which is a different catalog that we use.
And if you do that, it wouldn't just disappear in 3 weeks, right?
It does
Well,
if the
Like a
if
Mission
you have yes.
Impossible
Gone.
mission?
What happens is when you bring up like your phone, let's say you had your audiobook downloaded on your phone, when you go into you open up the Overdrive app, it will say this title is expired. So it lets you know.
Yeah.
It's not Amazon. It doesn't secretly pull 1984, which is a real example. It lets you know that the book is no longer loaned to you. Does that
So if you're in the middle of it still, you could just
gotta
take it out again?
gotta borrow it again? Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you're not really downloading it, because it was downloaded, you'd have it.
Right.
Yeah, it just seems like it is, but it really isn't.
Yeah,
It's downloaded with a hook on it.
With a hook.
DRM, yeah, the digital rights management. That's a good way to describe it because that's what they do.
It does have
Yeah.
a,
yeah, I had that happen with an Agatha Christie book, and so.
So who done it?
Yeah, I'm not telling. She always has twists and turns. But anyway, so do I have? Do I have
emotion.
a motion to accept the director's report and all the additional information she was able to clarify for
I'll
us?
make a motion to accept the director's report.
And I'll second that. Excellent
Thank you, Mike.
motion.
Okay. The next item is listed as master plan invitation, but
Yeah,
we
we
kind of
know that.
covered,
We
we kind of
kinda
covered
covered
that. All right. Next is Library Friends news, and they're on summer vacation, hiatus. So there's really not much to report there. Trustees updates or news and so forth. Well, first of all, did everybody get a chance to see this in the newspaper?
I don't think I did see
You
that.
didn't see that?
No,
Well,
I was gone.
okay. Well, I always like when it has to do with my library
Yeah.
or our library.
That is
You know,
nice.
it's a nice photo of
Really nice.
so.
You probably saw that. I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I don't read
Oh.
the print. I read the digital.
Oh,
Oh.
so I just thought, it is a photo of,
It's
for
like
those
bringing
of
the
you who aren't in the room, it's a photo that was in the reminder with Senator Lesser reading a story in our children's room during the summer reading program. And in the background is the Bruins mascot. So anyway, so I just thought I'd share that with you. Also, I don't know if everybody's on the email list, but I get information from Maura Didi of the the commissioners. And this has to do with a big item that I keep bringing up at almost every meeting is, have you heard anything yet? Have you heard anything yet? Well, this was, hello all, Governor Baker has signed the FY 2020 budget with no vetoes to the conference committee version. 6 of the MBLC's 7 budget line items were funded at or above the FY 2020 legislative agenda request levels. The Massachusetts Center of the Book, that's another line item, received level funding. This is super
That's
good.
awesome.
That's super. I have never.
That doesn't happen.
You know,
It hasn't happened for a long time.
a very, very long time. So this is super duper information, but I can't help but think,
Yes.
seeing as Senator Lesser is chair of the Library Caucus,
Right.
he and his staff and
Did a
did
phenomenal
an
work.
awesome job for libraries. And
We're fortunate to have a lot of Western Mass legislators be very strong library supporters.
yeah, so
And we're lucky, 6 out of 7.
Yeah, yeah.
It's unheard
Yeah,
of.
it's
I mean,
not a
that's really phenomenal.
I mean, I've been in the library kind of community and somewhat keep my ear and my eyes on the things that are happening in the library world, and I have never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Never. Okay, so
Kendra, you're getting those emails, right?
Yes.
With the MBLC, yeah.
oh good.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention it and only let you know for those who are somewhat new to how some of the library legislative works, how it works, that this is something that is very rare, and we need a cheerleading squad
Truly.
for having that passed, 6 out of 7. So that is amazing.
Well, I think they finally might realize what a big bang they get out of every dollar they give for these services.
No, yeah.
It's really a great return on every dollar spent.
Absolutely.
So, and it's been a hard story to tell and have understood.
Yep.
And so maybe people are realizing what a bargain it is.
Well, and certainly the commissioners must have been on them about it,
Yeah, on
and
point, yeah.
And somebody.
And the Board of Library Commissioners have given them really good material to work with.
Okay.
So I think that helps too, and our voices help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the advocates.
The advocacy, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And we need to just continue being out there and making our
making some
the
noise.
library, yes,
gotta make some
and drawing
noise.
attention when there's great things happening at your library, and so.
And I think they sent out another email with different dates and times and locations that you can attend
Yeah.
other
The legislative breakfast.
and other events.
Oh,
I
the
think
legislative breakfasts, it seems like they start telling you news about that in like January or
Right.
so.
Yeah.
So it starts then and so forth. Then there's always a legislative day in March,
Right.
where you go to Boston if you choose to. So I think that through the years, individuals from the trustees to the friends to just people who are interested in the library, they're saying, give us more. So that was great.
Since we have a new town manager and an interim town manager, or we'll get a new one,
Yeah.
is that an opportunity for us to sort of, try to get, inform these new people, and then maybe, ask them for stuff?
Well, what do you mean by asking for stuff?
Ask who?
Well,
The
the
town-
town manager
The
and
new town manager.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
just-
just to say, hey, you're the new person, and
This is
you
what.
don't know us, but we're the trustees of the library.
Sure.
And
And you will know us.
Just do
Yeah.
like an introduction and yeah, with the
Because
town
she's here for
manager.
4 months, right?
She has not yet started.
With an
Her contract
extension?
has
Is
not
she
been.
from within or from within?
I really can't answer any
Okay.
questions.
Yeah.
I don't
I
have any
just-
information.
fair enough.
No one's telling me anything,
Fair
so I
enough.
can't
I-
answer any. But anyway, she has not started yet. Her contract has not been finalized.
Yeah.
Once it is finalized, then you might be able to take an opportunity to meet with her. But she's an acting town manager, which is very different from
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
permanent town manager. So you may want to wait. This is entirely up to all of you, of course, but you may want to, for example, make the master plan more of something that would be a priority for this group at this time. And then once there is a permanent town manager, then you would work on establishing a relationship like what you were describing with that individual. But that's just my advice as the director. You guys can do however you think would be best.
I believe, Michael, to answer some of your questions, there was a big story in last week's reminder, and it answered a lot of questions with regards to what took place. And it was from Kathy Hill, provided the information, who's the chair of the town council.
So, Yep.
And it was a big article, and it did explain a lot. And I believe the woman was involved with the town managing of Hamden, is what I believe.
Yeah, I thought I read something, but I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, it was a
sure.
great article. So if you still have
Is this the interim person?
for the
The interim
interim person, there was an article in last
And I
week's
she may be
reminder.
interim, but she may apply for the permanent job. I mean,
And how long was this,
could,
the person who retired, how long was she in the job?
not quite 3 years.
Well, let's see, I think it would be 3 years
In
because she
December.
started off as interim.
Right.
And
She
then,
started off as an
you know,
interim.
so,
And how much longer did she have to go?
I don't know. I
Her
don't-
contract was up in December of this year.
Yeah, okay. So, anyway, so that's a little bit of information I can give you, the little bit I know. So,
It's a wait and see.
yeah, it is a wait and see. It's a wait and see. We've been through this before. And I don't mean just town manager, I mean, it's just, that seems to be what happens, you know, if somebody
Life
decides.
is a
Doesn't-
series of changes.
Yep, absolutely. I wanted to bring up for next month's agenda. I thought it might be a good time. We've already have looking at bylaws as a part of the agenda. I thought that the trustees' book award policy.
It's not a policy.
Well, I don't mean policy, but it's just a description of
A
how it's. Well,
But it's
no,
not a
it's not a
scholarship.
scholarship. It's just an award.
Okay.
Trustees Book Award. We might want to take a look at that again. And if you don't have it, not to worry, I have it and I'll forward it to you so you can take a look at it in advance so that we're not sitting here reading, you know.
Well, really, I would need to know before anything like that starts and we put it on the agenda. I need to know, and it's not on the agenda for tonight, so we can't really discuss it more tonight. You unfortunately were on vacation, but I brought it up at last month's meeting that major changes needed to be made so that the book award, if the group decided to continue, would need to put together a committee, is the recommendation, who would work very closely with the high school and the high school guidance department to ensure that the same procedures and processes are being followed by this particular organization as are being followed by all of the other awarding organizations. So if that is something that wants to be continued, a committee should get together and review that process. We would need to definitely start within
So,
soon.
when is it? Is it in May?
It's in May.
But the process for selecting the
Right,
individual
is
starts
early.
in January.
Right.
No, I understand
And
that, but the
I-
actual award thing is in May.
It's in May,
Yeah.
but library staff, myself, and library accounts cannot be used
Correct.
as they were in the past, and anything that this group would want to do needs to be vetted by Sarah Menard, the finance director. That's why I think we need to put together a committee that can seriously review it and decide whether or not this is something that the trustees want to continue to participate in, because it's going to be very, very different and have very, much more structured.
More guidelines,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
It's not gonna be us just
Correct.
figuring out which
Correct.
money we
Yeah,
want.
and my staff and I cannot be involved in selecting the recipient of the award. That was also part of a very big concern on the part of the finance director. So we can't really have much of a discussion about it tonight, but it was in my report from last month.
Right, right.
So we will discuss it though.
If somebody wants to, if Diane wants it on the agenda for next month, we can do that, but we would need to make a decision
Right.
next month. It can't just drag on and discuss until January,
Right,
and then
right.
all of a sudden we're underwater.
Right,
Right.
right. Then it's crunch time.
So I would just recommend
Is
that
this where we
everybody
give our
take a
money
look.
For somebody?
Yep.
I would just recommend that everybody take a look at my report
Yeah.
from
Right.
last month. If they have any questions about that, I know you watched the meeting, so.
Yeah.
But that would be, just review the report and come to the meeting ready to make a decision about whether or not you want to even form a committee to pursue it.
Right.
Because it's, again, the way it's been handled in the past is not the way that we can do it going
Sure,
forward.
sure. But, and so, just, I and that's why I'm bringing it up tonight, is that because she brought it to our attention, that we can't do that. We can't continue on that way.
Right.
I want you to see what was done or what was done in the past, so that when we come together next time, we can make a decision, and if we need to make a subcommittee, we can make a subcommittee. That's all. I'm not, you know, so I thought that,
So does the high school have guidelines for their awards?
Yes.
And are they in your report?
No.
No.
Because that would be completely different
Okay.
from what was going on in this particular example.
Okay.
And it's just very much more regimented.
But we would have to
much
follow
more-
those guidelines.
Yes, you would have to
So
follow the
how
high
would
school's
we get
guidelines.
those guidelines?
That would be something that the committee would work with Terry Hellier
Oh, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
and the guidance department.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, you would work directly with the high school guidance department and with Terry Hellier on that, and myself and my staff would not be included.
We get you.
Okay.
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 Sounds good.
Does that, okay,
Sounds good.
but,
And also, I received an email, I forget when, not changing the subject a little bit, regarding join kindergarten teachers for
Oh,
a meet and greet. Is that what's going
that's
on
what's
right
going
now?
on right
Is that
now.
what the chaos is? It's healthy chaos.
Oh, yeah. I think Celeste O'Brien is doing a read aloud and maybe for the other
And
teachers.
all the kindergarten teachers are here, right?
Yeah, I
For
think
2 days.
Well,
worth?
they were going to come.
I thought it was split, I believe.
so
There's
What I
two
read
times.
is some-
4 of them are here tonight, or are supposed to be here tonight, and 4 next week, I believe. I read. So.
But
it's
what a comfortable
re-
setting.
It's a really nice thing.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
program.
nice, comfortable setting to meet your
Yeah.
your
Your
teacher.
teacher.
You know, because that first day is kind of, kind of nervous
Yeah.
with that kindergartner, and okay, now we're going to lunch, you know, and stuff like that.
It's
a big deal.
milestone for kindergarten.
Sure, sure.
And it's packed in there.
Yeah, and what happens is they probably, at least, they know the children's librarian,
Yeah,
so there's a comfort level
Oh,
in
there's a
that.
definite comfort.
Yeah.
Well, and the parents can eat with.
Yeah. So, and, okay, so that's the 2 items I wanted to just, for the next meeting. And
What was-
then, it was, we're
first
gonna
one?
be looking
Not the
at
book award,
the
the first
book
the
award.
bylaws.
The bylaws.
Some of the bylaws. Michael and Melanie have been
Oh, doing that.
working on it and so
Okay.
forth, and doing some comparisons, I understand, with other libraries or other, and so forth.
And also, if I can just
Oh,
interject,
sure.
in doing the research with the bylaws, I've been looking at the MBLC, the ULA,
Yeah,
ALA,
ALA.
Also, I've been comparing other Massachusetts libraries
Mhm.
for the bylaws. It's a lot. So right now we have, I think I counted 15 policies under our wing right now. I think that's on our website. So I know last meeting you had mentioned about perhaps forming a subcommittee here with 1 or 2 of us to look at policies that we have, to bring them up to date. I only saw one date, which was last year or 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, but I didn't look at all dates on the policies. So maybe in the future, you know, now that I'm kind of looking at all the bylaws and everything, maybe if we do decide to form a subcommittee to look at those policies, I'd be interested in being on that, just because it's good navigation from looking at the ALA and the MBLC website, and
Okay.
you know, between that and the trustees handbook and
Okay.
our library, other libraries
Sure. Okay.
in comparison.
Um,
So if anyone wanted to think about it for the next meeting and perhaps be on a subcommittee for looking at the other 15 policies,
Yeah.
going from maybe the oldest
Right.
first.
That makes
so
sense.
that would be a slow process.
Yeah.
Nothing, you know.
Yeah.
We're not going to tackle 5 policies a month.
Right.
That is-
Right. Well, I think it's a great. I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you.
I have a question for the director, and it's really not really. It's not really trustee related, I don't think. But you know, I was here when there was a bad storm the other day, I just wanted to know, is because, you know, in the schools, like if there's, they practice drills and so forth, is there something in place so that if there's unexpected storms like tornadoes that tear off, you know, roofs, you know, like was down at the Cape or something like that. If there's a bad like storm coming our way, is there like a location that's like a sign location for everybody to just kind of wait it out?
If there's a tornado, we have 2 spots that are in the center of the building that are generally emergency exits
Yeah.
that you go under the stairs.
Oh, okay.
It actually happened. I was having a program and there was a tornado.
Here,
and- yeah, and that's what, and I took, I was with the chess club and I had to take them all and they're all shaking, you know. And that's what we did, we went up the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know, we've had freak
We might have gone
storms,
into
it seems,
snow,
you know.
High winds,
High
hail.
winds. Was past last week, this week, we were having all this weird weather.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, those dark clouds come in. You know it's a little bit more than just rain.
Right.
So I just wanted to just ask a question, that's all.
Yeah, the emergency lights came on.
yeah.
I was like,
Emergency lights, yeah. Yep.
they were scared.
Oh, I'll bet.
You didn't see
So-
a witch on a bicycle, did you?
Pardon?
You didn't see a witch on a bicycle?
No,
No?
That would be the Wizard of Oz.
Oh.
that's another story.
So,
get you and your little dog too.
so does anybody have anything else to offer tonight? All right, great. Okay, so our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 18th, 2019 at 6 p.m. And if I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second that motion.
Okay. So, meeting has adjourned.